Hello everybody, Drew here. Tip of the Mitt Flips, where every 100 subscribers, there's a giveaway. So if you're watching, make sure you subscribe so you have a chance to win. Today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be a dedicated packing video on how to pack up this blow mold. It's just going to be too long if I put it in with a normal video, so I wanted to do one all by itself. And this process will work for many other things, just oversized items that you need to change the size of a box, because the difference in shipping can literally, and I mean literally, be hundreds of dollars when you get into large items like this. Because I have a box right here that I could probably throw it into and make it work, but it was a difference of, I think, at the low end, $60, and at the high end, say it goes to Alaska or Hawaii or even California, it was a couple $100s. And then this system that I'm going to use, which I'm going to telescope, as they say. Fraken-Box is also a term people use, but telescoping is when you add a second box. I do it with USPS boxes all the time to add a little bit of space, but I'm actually going to do it with 3 boxes. And if I only telescoped and I used three of this box and got it to the right size, it would be okay in shipping, but just by reducing the side width of this box and the other 2 added boxes, I can additionally reduce the shipping charge by, if I just telescoped them, it's $43, $25, $17, which various shipping options, see if I can get some of this glare off of here. Various shipping options, you'll see FedEx ranges from $154 to $729, UPS $127 to $591. As people that live in the area that would cost that much to get it to them going to buy it? No, but that's just, it is what it is. Now, if I go in and I reduce that one dimension by, let's say, 3 inches, so we get that down to 43, 22, 17, and as it adjusts, you'll see 135 and 105. So that is a significant difference even at this point. Let me preface all this by, if you have a box store in your area, just go have a custom box made. If I had one of those, I wouldn't even, or if you have, I think some UPS stores do boxing at the store, just go pay for the service. It's not worth the time and effort. You can get a perfect box to get the shipping as cheap as possible with large, oversized items like this. That is your best option, but if you don't have that option, stay tuned to see how I do it. Okay, so the first thing in order to accomplish reducing the size you'll want to do is find the seam on the box. Okay, right here. Find the seam and just split it down the seam. All right, luckily now that I've rearranged, I have plenty of space to spread out and do what I'm attempting to do. And all that is that I'm going to measure the same distance back from this edge, the larger, longer section, and its duplicate on the other side. And because this is corrugated cardboard, I think it's corrugated. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, or mock me if you want. But because it is corrugated cardboard, you'll see it does have these lines here, which actually makes it very easy. You don't even have to measure. You can count and crease along. It's harder to crease a box in the other direction. You have to use some type of straight edge, where here the box kind of provides it for you. And I'm only trying to reduce it by a couple inches. I'm gonna double check my measurement so I don't have to do this twice, and then see how far back I actually want to reduce the box. Okay, so I am fairly close. It looks like I need more taken off than I do, because the Santa, as you can see here, is fatter at the arms than it is at the base. So it appears when you sit it in the box, I can reduce more than I actually can, but it's only a couple inches because of how wide it is here. And I can angle it in the box a little bit to gain a little more space. But if I do angle it too much, then it doesn't fit the other direction. So 2 inches is all I'm trying to reduce. And that's because it does save, I think it was, I don't really remember, but it was around $15, $20. So it is worth the effort. So I'll find where my 2 inch is gonna be, which is right about here on this one, and then I'll fold. I can even count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th corrugation. I don't know if that's proper, but it works. And if you have a straight edge, which I do because I have everything I need handy, I actually have multiple ones, and I'll use the bigger one right here. That's gonna work great. Just anything hard to hold your place. And what did I say? 7 of them. Get my straight edge on there, hold it down tight, and bend it up. Now I kind of got a weird crease here, but we'll see if we can get that better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the 7th one here. There we go. I don't know why it got weird on me, but let's get weird. Who cares? As long as it works, right? And give it a good crease, good crease. And once you get this first one done, it will be much easier because the next ones you will just be wrapping around the first one. So as long as you get that first one right, the rest will go very smooth, I hope. So again, we'll repeat on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th one here. Give it a fold. And now what should happen is when I bring this back up and fold it over, I'll eventually crease this side, and this will turn it into a smaller box. And if you have it, work smarter, not harder, you can brace it up against a solid surface, such as a wall or whatever, and you can get your box squared up that way. Now, not always, actually most times, I would leave what's here and just fold it over. But because it's gonna be wrapped with multiple boxes, I'm actually gonna cut this off so that it doesn't take up extra space, extra thickness. I'm just gonna remove that section. And I'll put that underneath so I don't cut my carpet. And I'll use a second straight edge to actually make the cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's this one right here, and we cut it. All right, so now that's done. Double check, and we'll see that we have 16 inches right there. Looks pretty good. Now just to make it back into a box, what you'll need is, because you can see this spot, this side is the same old side, so it moves freely, but this side where the flap was is no longer a flap. So I'll have to cut it up here and cut it up there. And normally what you would do is repeat that on both sides, but because this is not going to be the final box, there's going to be multiples added, you only need the bottom tabs to be able to fold in. The rest can just stay how they are. So let me go ahead and build this back out to a box and build up from there. And all this taping right now is just to get it back together. You are going to tape the heck out of this box the further and further along you get. And there we are. There is a box that is reduced the long way by 2 inches. Now let's hope that it still fits. All right, I probably could have reduced it by about 1 more inch, but as you can see, the arm does stick out quite a bit, and I do want to do 1 layer of bubble wrap on this. You don't have to, because it's hard plastic. The amount of force it would take to damage this is gonna damage it through the bubble wrap, but I just don't want any dings in the paint or whatever. Just, it gives it better box appeal. And at some point you do still have to fill out the rest of the box. You can't have it just rattling around in there. And it's the size that matters with these bigger objects, not so much the weight. So everyone knows how to bubble wrap. So let me just go ahead, take a break, wrap some bubble wrap around here, and then we'll come back and put the rest of the box together. Okay, like I said, everyone knows how to bubble wrap. It's not difficult. I did 1 wrap all the way around, so it covered the top and bottom, also the fattest edges of each side, and then the fat edge of the back and the front. Not trying to fat shame Santa, but everybody knows he's got a jolly belly. So now all I'm gonna do is repeat the process by taking 2 more of the same box, split the seam, and then just wrap it around the other one, and then we'll repeat what we did for the very bottom and the very top, and it should go smoothly. Now, the only thing you'll want to do is flip-flop the seam side. It just makes for a better box, more durable, more strength, and better look. Again, don't forget to use a wall or any type of hard, a second person, anything, something to push against and hold the box against, because an empty box will wobble if you do not do that. Okay, so you hold the one side firm, you bend the other side over. I did trim this off again because it isn't necessary to the box, so why keep it on there? And it kind of gets the thickness out of the way. So you don't need to double up and take away the additional reduction of the box that you just did. So you don't want to layer things too much. But you get that folded over like so, and I'll actually tuck that in and do the larger piece over top. And with this middle one, you won't have to recut either the flaps because it will not have flaps. This middle one, because of the boxes I'm using, if you have 2 boxes, then of course you only do the top and the bottom, but this one, because I have to use 3 boxes, the middle section will not have tabs that are functional, so I don't have to slice those ones like I did with the bottom one, and like I'm gonna have to do with the very top layer. Okay, so once I'm convinced that the second box is, let me back that up a little bit, that the second box is at least enough tape to hold it with some rigidity. It's one of my favorite words because it's kind of like masks. You just don't know an ed, rigidity. The middle one, you just want to make sure it has enough strength and stability and rigidity that you can adjust it. Because now I'm going to use the telescoping action to get as much box out of this box as I can. Okay, and as I'm doing it now, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm actually going to pull Santa out, because this will make it much easier. I'm going to push the telescope back down so that when I'm putting that top layer on, it has the rigidity I was speaking of, the strength to build out the box. So I'll cap this, not attach any of the boxes, and then telescope it to what I need. Okay, so once you have all the boxes roughly together, you'll need to take the top one, whether that's in my case, the third box or a second box, and you will have to raise the tabs so that they are above the middle box or second box, because they will have to still close. So you're going to slice up the corner of the new box you created to make sure it has tabs that can fold. All right, after you've done that, what you'll do is you'll begin to start filling the bottom with the void fill, whatever is your preferred void fill. I'll probably be using paper today, but if it's packing peanuts, bubble bags would be the best in my opinion. I don't have them, I don't have a bubble bag machine, but when I get them, they are the best. And start filling that bottom area because it's gonna be hard to get to at a certain point. And mostly what you're trying to do is just fill out the corners a little bit. Like I said, it's not much for protection. You just don't want it wobbling around. You know, give it some extra. Mostly if something happens that would damage this in shipping, it's gonna happen with the packing material or without the packing material. It's just to keep it from moving around, give it a little more sales appeal when they go to open it. Okay, this last part is gonna be a little tricky. Just all you have to do is be aware not to accidentally remove your boxes from your other boxes. Because what you're gonna wanna do is extend it as much as you can to close the top flaps here, and then you will bring it back down to as small a box as you can get. So let's go ahead and see if I can do that without screwing up. Okay, now you wanna be careful that you don't gap too far where you end up with holes. It's not a huge deal because you're gonna tape the heck out of this thing, but it's just better if you can not have a hole that opens it up to elements or whatever. Okay, because it's not fitting perfectly tight, what I'm gonna have to do is just throw a piece of tape on it so it quits moving around on me. Now this tab is giving me some resistance. I'm gonna just go ahead and lose it and deal with the fact that even though I just said try not to have a hole, I'm gonna go ahead and lose it, because if not, it's gonna give me trouble and it's easier to fix it than to just destroy the whole thing out of anger. All right, now that we're getting closer to where it wants, let's go ahead and put the rest of the void fill in to kind of help the boxes hold each other apart. And this is my very first time doing a Fraken-Box with 3 boxes, and it's no different. a little more time consuming. It's the exact same process, just repeated. Now in this situation, if you are using paper as a void fill, make sure you pack it very loosely, because the only reason you need tighter packed void is if the object is heavy and it's shifting around, it's gonna compress the paper, where this is not. If it's not gonna move, period, and so it's not really gonna compress the paper anymore. So pack it loosely so you don't add additional weight that you don't need. So now once I get the void fill up to basically the top, then I'm going to try to close the top and then get a nice even split between all three boxes, and then tape it till I run out of tape. All right. Now that, let me get a good shot of it. That is a thing that dreams are made of. At this point, what I'll do is I'll switch over to my 3-inch tape. This is very useful when it comes to large boxes. It just takes up less time. It doesn't make the tape any better. The coverage area is a little wider, and instead of doing 2 strips, I can do 1 strip with this one. It's a time saver, and it's just better for larger boxes. I suggest anyone that takes doing eBay serious have one of these. It's great. Also, if you have a second person, that will cut the time of this down probably about 5 minutes, maybe a little more depending on the person, just because it'd be helpful to have a second set of hands, but having a wall, something square to push against is key. At least it was when I did it this time. I'm not gonna bore you through me taping this up. Everyone knows how to tape. If you think it's not enough tape, it's not enough tape. If you think it is enough tape, it's not enough tape. Tape is cheap. The items you're selling are not, returns are not. Just throw some extra tape, especially around the holiday season. Just 10% more of everything. 10% more packing material, 10% more expected time, 10% more tape, and it will save you 100% more headaches. So that's gonna be all for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you at least found it useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. Subscribe, share, and be good to each other.